We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a sad edition of the Keeper's Corner podcast.
I would call it a mixed bag. Like, it's not all sad because of the news that we got after the games, but it's
we lost
tough
in Milwaukee. We lost in Kansas City. We lost an hour of sleep.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the hour. Thanks for reminding me about the hour of sleep.
Took 3 L's on the weekend.
Oh, you only took 3 L's. You forget, I'm an Empire fan. My weekend sucked.
I mean, I'm a Yankees fan, and I woke up to news this morning that Garrett Cole's going for an MRI on his throwing arm, and Aaron Judge is sitting the next couple of games because he's banged up in the preseason. I'm supposed to get mad about this team like after soccer's done, not right now. I can't be upset at the same time.
You could try.
It's too depressing. Plus, then there's Syracuse basketball, which is a whole other thing. Yeah.
Don't poke anybody.
Who are we poking? Why are we poking people? Peanut Gallery.
Yeah, Peanut Gallery is apparently asking for me to throw the remote at her new tattoo.
Oh.
It's not a Utica City one, so it deserves all the pain.
No.
It isn't a Utica City one.
Mm-hmm.
It's blasphemy.
So we got a bit to talk about. We have those losses. We have the announcement that was made after the game. And we have some roster update, which I guess we'll start there. On Friday, before any of the games were played, Utica released Steven Merker. He only played in 1 game over the 2 years that he was part of this roster, was down in M2, but I've been told that his locker is cleared out, so...
So he's done.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks. Hey, you know what, though? I got his jersey.
Oh, looky you.
Yeah, I know. That was the one that I got in the raffle last year. So nice. From one of the events. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I was like, who?
Hey, you know what? It's still more game-worn jerseys than I have. Because somehow I can win the Comets one, but I can't win the City one.
Yeah, that's because you suck.
Okay, you didn't have to come for me like that.
Want to fight? Come on.
No, I don't want to fight.
I know somebody did this weekend.
Yeah. All right, so Merker gone. That leaves 2 open spots on Utica's active roster. Thursday is the trade/loan deadline at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see if Tommy Tanner's going to cook something up for us, or if this is the team we're headed into the playoffs for.
There's some holes that I think could be plugged.
Oh.
Especially with the offensive performance this weekend. Just showing, all the people that have been complaining about Frank and how he doesn't do anything for the team, and then he's out, and we have problems up front. We had problems across the board, but we also had problems specifically up front.
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of seems like maybe he might have been an important piece to this roster.
Yeah, there's some imbalance with 3 target forwards missing this weekend.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are lead scorers. And the other one we know is just a spark plug off the bench. Oops.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was definitely a weekend where we missed a few of our guys. Milton was missed out there. Frank was missed.
Yeah.
It was hell. I would have taken Timmy up front because he would have shown some energy. Unfortunately, not to say that everyone up on the field did not have energy or drive, but it just felt very lacking compared to the energetic games we've seen in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're always energized at the odd, but you're not going to play every game at the odd. We know that.
Yeah. In fact, I think they play about half the games at the odd, give or take.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
depending on many games in the postseason.
Yeah.
So let's start with that Milwaukee game from Friday night. 6-3 loss. Boy, that. You're coming to this, you're down a couple of guys. They lose Ian Bennett in the first quarter, like within the first 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
And then their veterans just tear this team apart.
Yeah. It was, I was kind of like, okay. Little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel here when Ian went down. I mean, obviously don't want him hurt, but more good for us in the fact that we don't have to watch out for him. But it's almost like that just took our whole game plan of having to watch him completely out of sorts. And next thing you know, we don't know how to watch anyone.
Yeah.
Because the first half, okay, very defensive game. We weren't doing much on either side. We kept it to a 2-1 game. Our one goal coming from Rafa. Yeah. Which that was the second game. And then the third quarter happened.
Yeah.
We love the third quarter in Utica. It's the best.
We just all have that PTSD from the Ryan Hall era where for some reason the third quarters were just guaranteed to be the toughest part of the game.
Which, in fairness, a lot of them still are.
Yeah.
But we've come out on top on a good chunk of them. Mm-hmm. But just not this one.
Yeah. So let's start stats that tell the story.
So
you want to take this?
I mean, mine already because we talked about it already.
I know. Would you care to share with the other people, that are listening and watching?
No. It's mine.
Right. Well,
I'm
what they say,
forever.
Secrets are no fun unless shared with everyone.
My stat is super easy.
Mm-hmm.
Willie B. 80. Oh, what did he have? 84%? That's Andrew with his solid 40. 84%. 84% save percentage. 3 goals. 19 saves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to steal a little bit from you because you said this earlier. We could have had him work a little more if we had more on goal. Because we did have a lot of stuff go wide.
2 foot wider and a foot taller. This game's very different, but
yeah. Our accuracy was not stellar on Friday, unfortunately. We were kind of like stormtroopers out there, just kind of shooting at everything and hoping that something was going to hit.
Did you see the tweet that I sent out? Is that why you mentioned stormtroopers?
No, that was just off the cuff. What did you put out there?
The scene in Mandalorian where they've kidnapped Grogu and you have Jason Sudeikis as one of the stormtroopers being like, oh, yeah, we can hit anything. And they're aiming for a rock and they just keep missing it from point blank range. I put that up and I was like, Utica trying to score tonight. And then as the tweet is still saying sending, Gordy gets his first goal of the night. I'm like, reverse podcaster's curse again. Yep. I should have done that, 3 quarters ago.
Yeah, probably. But no, that's we didn't work Willie B that hard. I felt like I didn't feel like there was a lot of goals that really made him have to flex his goalkeeping talents. There were a few. There were definitely a few that he absolutely, obviously there was a few that we beat him on, but a lot of them were just, not on target. And unfortunately, hey, guess what? They don't count if they aren't on target. They don't matter. So for me, I mean, it's his save percentage. I mean, it just shows that anything we did put on net, very, very, very little of it did make it through.
Yeah, for me, the stat tells the story is so we're missing our 2 goal scorers. You look for the next guys up. We have plenty of scorers on this team to step up.
As we've talked about.
Rafa, great goal to get things started.
Yes.
Gordy got 2 at the end to try to, put something in. He's one of the players that you would expect to step up in this situation.
You would. Yep.
However, the other guys just could not get it either on net or past Willie B. You had 4 players contribute in this game on the score line, and that's Gordy with 2 goals, Gio Alves assisting on both of those, and then Nelson Santana assisting on Rafa's.
Yep.
Nothing from Keaton Woods. Nothing from Mo NDI. Nothing from Ronaldinho Diniz. Nothing from Chino. And it's not for lack of trying. They just, for some reason, this team lacked the finishing touch.
Yeah, it really is just.
I mean, they also had 13 shots blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just as simple as that. I mean, I don't know what we were doing necessarily. I don't know if we were just that thrown off by the roster changes that had occurred because of injury and things like that. I don't know why we just felt flat. I mean, it was very flat. It was very, I don't know what the word is that I wanted to say, but it's just like uncoordinated, flat and uncoordinated. That's kind of what it felt like, whereas there was a lot of passes that went awry, and guess what? Milwaukee's capitalized on them. It was definitely, it was a one-sided affair, and the score sheet shows that because we never tied it up after the initial goals. We never tied it up. We never even came close.
No. Play that changed the game. I have a feeling we're going to be pretty similar on this one. And that is the Nelson Santana own goal.
I know you're going to go there. Yeah.
Like, that one just felt like couldn't get out of our own way. I'm not putting it all on Nelson. Yeah, you're probably going to play it back to Andrew on that one. He headed it too hard.
Yeah.
So it was over Andrew. But Andrew, if you watch the replay, made a mistake that if you play Little League, you get this drilled into you as a 6 and 8 year old. And that is your first step should always be backwards because it is easier to change direction to go forward than it is to stop going forward and then go backwards. And you watch and he takes a half step forward and then tries to backpedal and the ball's already over his head.
Yeah, at that point, it's too late.
Which is unfortunate. Obviously, he was expecting like a soft little doink, and instead he got a moonshot.
Nelly put a little bit too much mustard on that one.
Yeah.
No, it's unfortunate. It definitely, I mean, yeah, I couldn't even pick a better play. I mean, that one, it took the wind out of our sails real bad. Wouldn't have mattered if it was the first goal, the 5th goal. It was a tone setter. And unfortunately, it basically set the tone for the rest of the match, and we just never seemed to recover from it. We couldn't get out of our own heads. And that could be why, we were shooting like stormtroopers just because we couldn't get out of our own heads, couldn't get out of our own way.
I don't know, watching at home when I saw that header go in, I'm just like, this game's over.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just felt, you felt it immediately. Like, momentum isn't going to change.
No. Nope. No, it was not. And it didn't.
I think I'm going to save the what needs to change and positive takeaway for both games on this, because
I refuse to give you a positive takeaway on this game.
I guess say for the weekend, also to save time. But
yeah, I like that.
Ugly game. You're hoping you could put it behind them. Then they moved down to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, it looked like they had. But it took a minute to get there because Kansas City opened it up really quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, really quickly.
26 seconds.
Yeah. That is... You go down 1-0. You tie it up a minute and a half later. And at one point, you lead 4-1. And then you lose 11-6. So where's your... Well, you took stat that tells the story first on this last one. I'll take it on this.
Go for it.
Zach Reggett, 4 goals, no assists. In the 3 games that they've beaten them prior to this, Zach Reggett held scoreless.
Uh-huh.
And then you let their most dangerous player just take over the game at times, including a shorthanded goal. Yeah, not a great defensive one there.
No. Our biggest issue in that game, which, yeah, we were both thinking the exact same thing for the stat. I was actually going to be a little bit more specific and just say the shorthanded very much kind of tells the tale. But another one that I don't quite know what happened. I mean, first quarter, looking good. 4-1. We're feeling good. We're looking good. A little bit of the jitters from the past game. And then second quarter. And the next thing you know, by the half, there are 12 points on the board across both teams before we even go into halftime. 2 of those coming from Zach Reggett. And also 2 of those coming from Andreas, who was also not exactly on fire, but he went on a tear. And he got 2 in a row. And he was aggressive. He was up in our face. Yeah, they were absolutely playing much more. They wanted this game. We didn't act like we wanted it.
No.
So that's not what it looked like. I'm sure the guys do. Obviously, they want to win these games. They want to win games. They want to, people feel good when they win games. They want to have that. It's not like they go out there and we're just going to lose this game. We don't care. But it didn't look like they wanted to win to us.
Not as much as Kansas City did.
Not anywhere near as much as Kansas City did. Kansas City was like, hey, you guys have beaten us twice this season. We're not letting you sweep us. Not happening. Sorry. And they proved their point.
Yeah. Your play that changed the game.
I mean, is there anything other than the shorthanded goal? That's literally what kind of steered the rest of the game. I mean, I guess I kind of meant to use that for both of them, really, because, that was literally a minute left in the second quarter. And they get a shorthanded. And the next thing you know, we're going into halftime and we have to stew on it. We have to stew on it the entire time when we're in the locker room. Like, we just let a shorthanded goal in. Are you kidding me? And we didn't even end up capitalizing on that penalty at all. There's that game, or that particular goal, I think, is what basically changed the mindset completely.
Okay. And that is fair. That is absolutely fair. Mine comes a little bit earlier, but it is another Zach Reggett goal. And that
he
is
had enough of them.
That is his. I know he had a first half hat trick with that, shorthanded. But mine's his second one, which brought it back to 5-4 on the Neto, where he just heaved it downfield, and Reggett did Reggett things 1-on-1, and brought it back 5-4, and that was 32 seconds after Utica had just opened it back up to a 2-goal lead.
Yep.
Any hope that you're gonna you just watched your 4-1 lead come down to 4-3. You've opened it back up to 5-3. Maybe momentum is changing, and less than a minute later, it's right back on Kansas City's side.
I didn't even think about the goal that Hubert just mentioned. It wasn't. Well, I think maybe Nelly played it back, but it was off of Mo. Because
Mo had it in the corner. He didn't really have anyone to pass it to. He couldn't play it to Coughlin.
Yep.
And
so he
carried it across the goal face.
And Andreos said, "Nope, that's going in."
Yeah, where
in.
The play really should have been just blasted off the glass and try to get it away from the goal.
Yeah. Yep. That's probably would have been a better choice. And I'm sure he's kicking himself. We don't need to, to tell him what he did wrong in that instance. I'm sure he was kicking himself the rest of the game, but it was just another one for the mindset. Between that and then, like I said, the last goal of the second half, another Zach Reggett, shorthanded goal. Those two just plunged our confidence in that game, in each other and them, in themselves and each other. So just a really rough game.
Yeah, some ugly minutes over the weekend. What needs to change after this weekend? I think the easy answer is to say injuries, but
that's not.
Look, Gordy's been playing through that ankle injury. I'm sure he aggravated it. That's why he missed the second half of Kansas City. What are you going to do about Andreos with a tackle that was, so late it would have been free of charge on delivery pizza? That came way too high up on Rafa and should have been a blue and a yellow and not just a blue.
Yeah, I was waiting I saw Steve brought it up, and now you're bringing it up. That I was so worried about Rafa after that one, because it was rough, and I don't know how he didn't get more for it.
Yeah. And it's not like we can say, the rest of the game was fairly clean. You had Rian Marquez throw a punch. We had, I think it was Berto Palmer, not Ramon Palmer. I'm not 100% certain on the play. Elbow Nelly after Nelly was the one that got punched. Like, he did something to, get an elbow thrown at his face that the officials missed, but the broadcast booth didn't. Hopefully the league looks at that.
The fact that, Nelly was doing Nelly things.
Yes.
Nelly was egging on Marquez because Marquez got in his face after the last play, when the chat's calling out, he karate chopped him in the back. It's like, it looked like his hand came down, but it did not look like it made contact in his back, in Marquez's back. And then Marquez got right in his face. Nelly was backing off, and then he must have said something, and then Nelly's pushing back
right in the gut.
No. This was before that.
Oh, before that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is what instigated the rest. This is what instigated that happening.
Yeah.
Because then they restarted play, and then not even 10 seconds later,
Nelson bodied up Marquez, and Marquez just fucking damn. I am cursy tonight. I am sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was late on the. There you go.
It's not like I could warn you.
Oh, yeah. What a guy.
Yeah. This is why we used to keep this off the live stream. So I could clip that out, restart the sentence.
Now you get all these fun moments.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Peanut Gallery's talking, but I got headphones on, so I can't really hear Bumble Mouth over there.
Oh, I heard nothing. All I heard was beep.
Oh, yeah, I get one F-bomb then every episode.
Yeah.
That's PG-13.
I'll continue to bleep myself out.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
I got it readily available. Anyway.
Just, like, yeah, it was a hard-fought game, and it's another one where Sigic is the head official, and things are getting out of hand. We came really close to that happening in the Utica Monterey game. It happened in the Tacoma San Diego game. It happened in the first Utica at Milwaukee game. All of them had this guy involved, and he's the head of officials.
I don't normally like going down on the, or getting on the refs because, look, they're human. They're going to miss things. They're not going to see everything. Yes, some things that are blatantly obvious they might not be paying attention to, but letting the game get out of hand
time and time again is like, it's like letting the Twitch chat get out of hand and, not really doing anything to calm it down, whatever that may take, issuing cards or issue warning. Like there was a point where captains needed to be called over and you needed to warn both teams.
Yes.
And they didn't.
Steve, I messaged him after the game. I haven't heard anything yet. I don't know from my perspective how he's doing. But I know I did reach out to him, just wanted to see how he's doing. So.
But no, that's, what needs to change is not, we need to get healthy. We need officials that can control a game. Nope. Because those are things that we can't control. What we can control is making dumb plays.
Yeah.
And my lord, specifically, right? I mean, we already talked about Mo bringing the ball across the goal face.
Yep. We knew that was going to hit. We knew that was going to hit us in the butt at some point.
And it has multiple times this season already.
Yep.
Santana's own goal header.
Mm-hmm.
But Santana had 2 very costly penalties this weekend.
Yep.
And they were both dumb, incredibly dumb. The first one in Milwaukee, it was a common foul. All he had to do was not kick the ball after the whistle was blown into the player who's down on the turf.
Yep.
That's losing control of your emotions.
Yes.
And then the trip with less than a minute left in a game you're down by 4 goals. Away from the ball, like it wasn't involved with the play.
Yeah.
So now he's got 7 penalty points, and he's going to miss this next game against Harrisburg. And we don't know if Nilton will be back, considering he was in a walking boot last week. I'm not counting on it. We don't know if Frank will be back. We don't know if Gordy will be good to go. We have no idea if Rafa's going to be good to go. Who knows about Timmy and his knee issue?
Right.
We know Taylor's been away with his maternity or paternity leave, but I don't bring the kid to the odd. Just we need you back, man.
We really, really do.
This team is hemorrhaging players right now.
Yeah, anything we can do at this point to, stop the bleeding would be good. Especially, we're edging ever closer to that playoff. I mean, we're in the playoffs, which I know we're going to talk about, but
yes,
but like we're in. For how long?
How many times in this Kansas City game did we hear the broadcast? go, it's 2-on-1 against the goalkeeper. It's 4-on-2 against the goalkeeper. It's, 2-on, because Utica got caught up time and time again. Or they were caught ball watching, which the chat called out on one of, I think it was Andrea's goal, maybe.
I don't remember that one particularly.
I can't remember if that was that one or Kansas or Milwaukee. I watched them both. No, it was Milwaukee. It was one of Leite's goals. I think the one that made it 5-2, where Keaton got caught ball watching.
Yep.
And then he looks back over his shoulder to check where Leite is, and he's just gone. He dropped in behind him, headed straight towards the goal, right into the middle of it, a quick pass, and boom.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised at how many times we got beat with our own tactic of just the quick counter.
Yeah.
So many times that we've seen where Andrew hucks the ball and we just get a quick counter and maybe a goal or at least a decent shot.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, they flipped the script and they did it to us. And it, like you said, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1.
And it was like the Kansas City game is especially egregious because they were playing to the script that we talked about.
Yes.
Through the first, quarter, they had through the first quarter they had already shut out Reggett, and they were up 4-1, and they had gotten Neto a blue card. Mm-hmm. Okay, Reggett gets one back, and then they get Neto a second blue card. We know what he's prone to. They went 5-hole on him earlier, and then they weren't able to control the ball long enough to challenge him after that.
Yep.
Kansas City found a second gear, and Utica did not.
Boy, I thought with those two blues, I'm like, okay, we're already in Neto's head. Like the last time we got in his head, he crumbled. So it's like, man, this is good. He's got two blues. He's going to be cautious. He's not going to be living, he's not going to be playing up to snuff. And then we fell apart.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if he was up to snuff or not.
Now you had just a rough weekend.
Rough.
Yeah. You played 8 quarters and you were shut out in 3 of them. It was a costly weekend. That'll bring us to we'll let you say anything you think needs to change besides the dumb plays.
No, I think we've pretty much covered it.
Okay.
It was like just, not, I said before, we need to stop playing with it in our offensive third or our defensive third. And we did a lot of that. We also took a very long time to try and set up in the offensive third. That was another thing that was a severe problem that did not work in our favor. We just could not seem to get set up because by the time we got set up, they were about to take it away.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just overall, a lot of problems that we need to work on. And if we can do that, then we'll get there.
Hopefully. Silver lining. Do you want to take this one? What's your positive takeaway?
You're really going to give that to me?
God, yeah. I'll follow up, but because I have one.
Silver lining, the positive takeaway for the weekend. We made it in the playoffs. Woo! But not by anything we did this weekend. Granted, the guys have done a lot of work over the season. Cannot take that away. They've done a lot of work over the season to get to that point. This weekend was not one of those weekends where it felt like they did a lot of work. And unfortunately, it was a silver lining, but it's like did we earn it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
It's
unfortunately.
not that it feels bad. It just feels like participation trophy, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of feels like we were given the, hey, you showed up.
Yeah. You didn't win this year in ASO, so here's a medal while the winning team gets trophies. Like, okay.
A real insult to injury is when they get trophies and the winners get medals.
Look, here's my bright spot from the weekend. Gio Alves. He's been on a tear of late by his standards. Through his first 14 games on the season, he had 4 goals and 5 assists, 9 points. Over the last 6, he has 2 goals and 6 assists, 8 points. So where we've seen guys like Ronnie and Chino and Keaton kind of slow down a bit in the second half, he's starting to pick up some of that slack.
Well, so as far as Keaton goes,
we know he's playing through that injury or coming back from injury.
Yeah, I was going to say he definitely has not been up to snuff from where he was at the beginning of this season. And I'm sure that is just simply because he doesn't want to get re-injured.
Yes.
You know, I get that. And I'm not going to say, like, especially at this point when we are locked up for a playoff spot. I mean, obviously we want better placement, but we also don't want to have, great placement in the playoffs and everyone's injured. So what now?
Yeah.
We want to have healthy guys. And so, yes, he's been a little rough around the edges since he came back. We're seeing sparks, and it just needs to work a little bit more, get a little bit more back into him, and he's going to be looking good.
I'm not saying they're not doing anything. There's stuff they're doing, but you know, Ronnie started off as a dark horse MVP candidate in December. You had people talking about that. In 4 of the last 6 games, he's been held scoreless.
Yeah.
Chino has come up clutch time and time again. And actually, he's not been doing bad. But these past 2 games, he had that nice 5-hole goal and then struggled to beat the keeper.
Yeah, he did.
Like, this is where I was like, okay, Chino's going to step up. I really thought he was going to have a big weekend. Because you didn't have Frank, you didn't have Nilton. And I think the opposing teams figured that's kind of where our offense would go in the, set offense instead of just transition.
Right.
And they locked him down.
They really did. I mean, he had he didn't have much room to breathe.
He had 13 shots on goal over the weekend and only 1 found net.
And this is another one of those. Sorry.
I was going to say, for comparison, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Like, he had 13 shots on goal between January 12th and March 3rd.
Yep.
It's like 8 games there.
And here's the thing is I almost feel like we maybe got a little used to the idea that every team was trying to lock down Frank. And so he was always drawing 2 people. And so it freed up the field and freed up these other guys to do stuff. I almost feel like we kind of got used to that, and it made it where now all of a sudden we have much more to deal with to try and actually get the ball in, because he wasn't there with, sparklers and whatever, just getting the attention of the other team. So I speculation, obviously. But
I was going to say, look at Gordy's goals this weekend. They came from getting forgotten by the defense.
I mean, he is kind of
but also he's been injured this year. Hasn't been at the same level we saw last year. I mean, you could see it even in Milwaukee. He got hit in the ankle at one point, and then a bit dramatic on the field to get the officials' attention. But his run to the bench, there was a hobble in it.
Yeah, there was.
and it's that same ankle time and time again. And then Neto stepped on it, and that's how he got his first blue card, which I can't believe that took a challenge. But
yeah, but we've seen that time and time again too.
And you mentioned Keaton injury. He was heating it up pre-injury. The 5 games before that, he had 3 goals and 3 assists. And since coming back, he has failed to find a goal or an assist in 3 games.
Yes, he has.
So, he might be playing at 80%. We don't know. Hopefully he's healthy headed into the playoffs.
That's what we need.
We need so much health on this team right now.
And a lot of it is due to injuries, but a lot of it's just stuff that can be cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Within
defensively,
the team.
It needs to be cleaned up. Offensively, we got to get healthy.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty much what it boiled down to. Yep.
All right, so playoff standings. With Utica's 0-6 weekend, we fell from second in the East to third. Milwaukee is now 2 points ahead. At the moment, in case of tie, Utica would hold the tiebreaker with regulation wins. 12-11. It's the reason that we have qualified and Kansas City has not. We have 12 regulation wins. Kansas City has 11.
Right.
If KC loses their next 2 games and Baltimore wins out, they would each have 11 regulation wins, and then after that it goes to other tiebreakers, and that depends on how the rest of the games go.
Right.
But if Baltimore drops 1 more point, they are out of the running. So with a game on Saturday against the Heat, they got a pretty good chance to stay alive unless KC can get a point against the Ambush on Sunday.
Which, I mean, they have a kind of not a 50-50 split, but I'm actually looking at it right now. Win 1, lose 1, win 1, win another, win another. So they've lost 1 to St. Louis this season, and it was away. And so
which is where they're playing.
Right.
They're at St. Louis.
Right.
But yeah, I jokingly said in our group chat that St. Louis has a chance to just do the funniest thing and, loan some of their players to Utica and then tank the 2 games when they're here next weekend just to burn Milwaukee and Kansas City and hurt their chances at playoff or home field advantage in the playoffs. They could send us a Leagueway or SK or Tagua or Schmerman or Robbie Cristo. Yeah. Any 2-player combination of that on loan.
Yeah, we'll take a couple. Yeah. Give me.
We have 2 open roster spots and a whole bunch of injuries.
Yeah. No, it's it would be pretty funny. Very, very unlikely, but it would be really funny. No. It would be a big troll.
Exactly.
I would love that.
That's where things stand. Utica has a game in hand against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's final 3 games are at Dallas. So let's just say 3 points there.
Yeah.
At home against San Diego.
Yes.
And they have yet to lose at home to anyone not named Monterey. And then they go down to Monterey for the final game of the season.
Yeah.
which given Monterey's, they already have the Shield. They already have home field through the playoffs.
Yeah, but do you really think they're going to let off the gas? Honestly,
I think it fully depends on how their next game goes.
Yeah.
Because if somehow Texas can beat Monterey at Arena Borregos, then they don't have a perfect season. And there's nothing to play for in the last game. But if you're vying for that 24-0, that's different.
They will never have a perfect season.
Okay. You know what I mean? An unbeaten season. Yeah.
You would have corrected me on it.
No,
you would have.
I made that differential point out last week. So it's fair. It's fair. Jeez. And then Utica has 2 games in hand against Kansas City, and we are tied in points right now. And Kansas City has a game at home against San Diego, and then that game against St. Louis.
Out of the 3 teams, we have the easiest.
We do. We have Harrisburg, and then 2 at home against St. Louis. So we have 3 or 4 games at home.
Right.
Where Utica has only lost to Monterey and Texas in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So very good record at home.
Yep.
And our road game is at Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'll say this because, someone on social media was like, Utica will be fine. They play easy teams. They're not going to have to worry. Look, Harrisburg stole a game in overtime at Utica last year.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis has lost by 1 or 2 goals, including the shootout against Milwaukee on Sunday.
Yep. In
5 of their past 6 games. They have been much better since adding Oligwe and Aruja. There's another one that Utica could, he's got futsal experience, defender.
Arugio would be a big pickup if we could somehow land him, but
I don't see
highly unlikely.
I don't see anything happening.
No, highly unlikely. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. But they've been better. We know Paolo's a very good goalkeeper.
Yep.
Especially when he has a decent defense in front of him. And then say what you want about Baltimore, it's still tough to win there.
Oh, always.
They are still 6-3 at home. And with games against Harrisburg, us, and who else do they play at home? I forget. Dallas. So they're going to have a winning record at home.
If all goes according to plan, they definitely should.
Yeah, they could still go 9-3 or 8-4 at home very easily.
Yes. But more than likely,
it'll be their road woes that sink them just like last year.
Yes, exactly.
That's where things stand for playoff seeding. You got 3 weeks left. It's going to be a tight race in the East. The West is...
You said Dallas. They don't play Dallas. They play the Outlaws.
Yeah, at Texas, right?
Okay, sorry. Home games.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Home game. Yeah.
I just was looking at the schedule and saw Texas, and I was very confused for a moment. But yeah, you're right. Harrisburg, Dallas, us.
Yeah. So see what happens there.
Couldn't get any more thoughts sucked out of the brain.
Like, hey, we kind of forgot to do the around the asshole in 90 seconds, and I was gonna see if you wanted to do it this week since you said almost as much last week.
I'll let you do it because I didn't prep. Because if I had known, I would have been doing it.
Neither did I.
Oh, okay. Hey, there was games around the league.
There were. The Flash are still undefeated. Baltimore's hanging on by a thread. The Stars came from behind to win at the Outlaws. The bottom of the league still looks ugly with Harrisburg winning one and losing one against the Heat. Chihuahua won.
Harrisburg losing and winning one against Dallas?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if they could have lost one and lost against themselves, I don't know.
They might have. I didn't watch those games, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't as well.
Some of us did.
Oh, well. Some of us are mods and probably had to or chose those games, and others are not.
Yes, teams won and lost, lots of SOGs. Easy.
Yes. Yeah. Chihuahua won 3 of 4 when they played 4 games in 6 days. So, wow, that's impressive.
That's a heck of a schedule.
That is. And it's not like it was an easy one. It was San Diego, Chihuahua, Baltimore, and the schedule at the top doesn't go back farther. So I forget who they played on Tuesday.
I'm just laughing at you.
Why?
Chihuahua played Chihuahua.
Oh, Monterey. I'm looking at the.
It was Chihuahua went against between Sunday and Friday. They went against the Sockers, the Strikers, Monterey, and then Baltimore. And they won 3 out of 4.
Impressive stretch, especially that, final one against Baltimore. Because Baltimore's used to playing on a small field. And they played the day before. It's their 3rd game in 4 days.
It was a hard stretch.
Takes a toll on you. Yeah. We very well could have an all-Mexico final here.
That's kind of where my head's at, to be honest with you, barring some crazy turn of events. Monterey dropping in the playoffs a series against, if we get knocked out against, Milwaukee, because they came close.
Yeah.
Or
they lose on the road in the first game. It goes to a mini game, and they get unlucky in a 15-minute match.
Yeah, I'm wondering if one of the two teams has that happen to them, whether it's Chihuahua or Monterey. But I mean, one is beaten everyone, and one has beaten everyone except the other.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that it's not going to be Chihuahua and Monterey in the final.
Yeah. But that's a month and a half, 2 months away.
Yeah, sort of ways.
Let's talk about this Sunday. Harrisburg comes to town. Utica's 5-0 against them on the year. They've outscored them 50-30.
Boy, that's a difference.
That is a very dominant offensive. Defensive is pretty average, 6 goals per game. You'd like to see that tightened up against one of the league's worst, but.
And we want to get double digits again.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell a little story about the last time Utica played on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, no.
Against a team that they very easily should have beat because they were the worst team in the division, if not the league. Brandon, you can't run away from history. I know your headphones are off, but we'll be back. We're just going to wait till he comes back and remind everyone about the St. Patrick's Day massacre of 2019.
What?
Welcome back, buddy. So that St. Patrick's Day massacre of 2019
suck.
It was 5 years ago.
How good.
So
Even
on the
better.
5-year anniversary, we have a very similar matchup. And that game, Hubert, I have to bring it up because I'm tatted with the logo from that game. I can never forget it. In memoriam for all those whose fandom took a beating that day.
All right, I think we need to go get a laser. And 212 will hold him down, and we're going to get that thing off of there.
Do you want to know do you remember how bad that game was?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, what was the score?
Oh, I've etched that from my memory. I just know it was bad.
It was bad. What if I told you that at one point, Utica led 2-1 in the first quarter, less than 4 minutes in. And then they never led again. In fact, no one scored in the second quarter. They were tied at 3 in the third quarter. And then Utica lost 9-3.
Yeah. I know. It was great. It was the best. And go figure, we played Harrisburg the week before, and we won 10-2. Imagine that. Right around the same time.
Just bring it up because this is one where, like we said, no games in this league are a give me.
No.
You cannot overlook any team.
Nope.
And when you do, you pay the price.
And we did.
As things are, Utica could be without 5 offensive players and a defender this week.
Yep, because we're out Nelly.
Mm-hmm. We have a 24-man active roster. We're down 6. And, forbid anyone else gets injured at practice this week. It leaves 18 to choose from, 3 of which are goalkeepers. So you have 15 players left. 14 on game day are field players.
Wouldn't be the first time we played Andrew Coughlin on the field.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm a fan of him with his pseudo 6 attacker strategy here. It feels less vulnerable than pulling him and putting Gio in. Nothing against Gio, but
I'll take him just on the field, and we can put Wilkin in goal. I mean, Andrew can
Julian as your backup.
Yeah, and we'll just let Andrew play. He'll be a target forward. It's great.
Yeah, you really want to risk that before, less than a month before the playoffs?
He'll be fine.
Yeah, Utica and Harrisburg have never gotten heated. No one ever pulled a player down with a couple seconds. No one ever pulled a player down directly in front of a bench with a couple seconds on the clock in the game. A game that was already decided.
Listen, he's in Baltimore, although I would love it if he came, we go get Jake. Bring Jake here. Bring Jake up. Listen. His wife and kid really seem to enjoy the game in 212, so he should come up here and then they can all enjoy every game. Yeah, the chat was really against you bringing up that story.
Yeah, I just opened it back up.
They were not happy with you.
No, stop. Please don't bring it up. No, stop right there. Bleep them out. We don't want to.
Trust me,
memories need to be dragged up once in a while just to remind us what pain feels like.
I was actively monitoring that, and I'm just laughing like, oh, God, why would you bring this back up? I knew you had to, but I just didn't. I didn't want to be there for it. And then you waited.
Yep, I did. There's a little bit where I'm like, well, just wait. He can't go away forever. His computer's on. He won't leave it on.
Watch me.
Oh, that's disappointing. I just opened up the league leaders, and now because of the day that Reggett had, he's staring you directly in the face at the top with 43 points and 31 goals. And then the league leader in assists is Leite. So it's just everyone that single-handedly dismantled Utica this weekend.
Yep, and we are completely off the list.
Yep. Yay, injuries.
Woohoo!
Potentially catastrophic injuries.
Also, yay.
Yay.
But back to Harrisburg.
Yes.
So,
how do you see this one going?
Well, if things kind of stay the way they've been as far as roster goes, also looking at Harrisburg's, we know that they will be most likely without Joey. He's obviously a big threat in any game. We've seen him both on the field for us, and we've seen him on the field against us. And we know what he does. And yet we still have lost track of him. So with not having Joey is definitely unfortunate for them. Based on their recent games this weekend, we know that they were at least at good enough strength that Pat Healy did not have to suit up and play. With Dom Francis, which never seems to get injured. Of course, Ty Hall, Elton De Oliveira, Malcolm Harris. Like they've got a pretty good, roster coming in as long as all of them are still healthy after this weekend, having their doubleheader against Dallas. So, and with our roster situation not being amazing, I would love this one to be a blowout. I always want it to be a blowout against Harrisburg, but because you had to drag up, the leprechaun out of its grave, and make us relive that painful memory, and also just the fact that it is that weekend.
Look, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
I will hang up
and
on
the history
you.
of Ireland is nothing but pain.
I will literally end this Skype call right in the middle of this stream. I don't care. Also, I have some Irish people that will probably stab you. They will find you, and straight from Ireland, they will come over. I will pay for their tickets.
We can listen to Dropkick Murphys or the Young Dubliners or Gaelic Storm or Flogging Molly, and we could talk about how England screwed that country over with the Great Hunger.
9-5. Utica.
Wow, you're bold. You are bold.
I'm not even. Well, see, here's the thing. This past weekend, even just looking at the Kansas City game, we were glass cannon. Mm-hmm. But we also have Andrew Coughlin, who is Mr. Stretch, and he has earned that nickname for a reason. So I see us getting a lot of goals, but I also see us not being able to defend against a lot of them either, which is why I think that they're, easily going to get 5. They might even get 6. They might even get 7. It could be a close game, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game. So 9-5.
See, I think it's the opposite. I think Utica's going to hopefully get out fast to a lead and then just try to sit on it. Park the bus. Because that's what you use Harrisburg's tactics against them.
Yeah, that is what they like to do.
And with the limited availability at this known time.
Right.
You're down Nelson, so you're not going to be able to move Mo up top to be a target forward.
Mm-hmm. Potentially no Rafa.
Potentially no Rafa. Potentially no Gordy. Potentially no Timmy. Potentially no Frank. Potentially no Nilton.
Fun times.
I'm going much lower scoring and much closer. I'm going to say 5-4 Utica.
Ooh. Regulation?
Yes.
Okay. At least one of us is confident in our team.
Also, I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. I was scrolling down on the leaders page because you brought up Coughlin. I wanted to see how this weekend hurt him in the standings. And boy, it did. But for the high quality on this webpage, for wins, it goes Bernavaldo Vinos, 15. In second, Nicolau Neto, 12. Tied with Boris Pardo, 12.
Oh, my God.
Then Diego Reynoso, 11. And then Willie B with 12. So Willie B has more wins, but is lower ranked than Reynoso.
I just saw that. Yeah, that makes sense. They definitely haven't updated that yet. Now have they?
Nope. They have something automatically, and I guess someone was supposed to go move it manually, or the code messed up.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if there's any others like that. Oh God.
Do it on your own time.
Yeah. Well, this is my time. It is our time.
Down here.
Anything else we want to talk about this weekend?
I think we've hit enough.
Okay.
It was a unfortunate weekend this past weekend. Let's make it a better one this coming weekend. And finish a sweep on Harrisburg.
Yeah. let's get back in the win column. Keep pace with Milwaukee at minimum if we can't make up ground on them, and hopefully stay tied or ahead of Kansas City.
That would be nice. I would like to stay there.
You got to get the 3 points. Anything less than that this weekend is considered a failure.
Oh, yeah. We need those 3 points. I mean, this should be this is a game that Utica should win. Not saying that, like, hey, we believe that they should win. No, it is a statistical, we should win this.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, there's really something wrong. And yeah, let's stay. Let's not increase the number of injuries, as Steve mentioned in the chat. Let's at least level off on the injuries. No more.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much everything. Only other thing I want to add is, Huber, we came to your defense. Well, I came to your defense on the MASL Off the Wall page. You were nominated for Fan of the Year, even though you're not a part of the group and want nothing to do with it. But they were going to deny you as a media member because you carry media credentials, which don't exist.
So like how we got nominated as well, each one of us individually, and
we were told we can't because media. And
yeah,
that was literally just me being like, we're not media. This is all fan based. We don't have any credentials. Utica is homegrown.
Yeah, we're not affiliated at all.
Yeah, we're not team affiliated. We're not like Soccer's Overtime or the Blue Turf
Striking
episodes
Fury,
where they have Striking Fury.
Yeah,
I think the Wave have one. I know the Stars have been starting one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old it is. But it's all fan based here because the fans love Utica.
Yes,
and
we
through
do.
that, we've been nominated. So we'll see what that is. And when voting gets up, we'll post it. And if you aren't a member of the MASL Off the Wall, join, vote for us. We appreciate it.
One of us.
What?
Can't pick both.
I'm sure you can.
It's up to, it's going to be one of us. There can only be one.
Fisticuffs.
I'll go grab we'll go full Highlander on this thing.
Well, we'll see what we can do. But last year's prize, they sent a player. Didn't they send him to the MASL Ron Newman Cup Finals? The fan?
It was something like that, yeah.
Or like to a game to kick off this year. I forget which, but
I don't remember.
I think they sent him to the finals.
Cool.
I think the league got involved and sent him to the finals, if I remember correctly.
Probably. I don't remember last year's, to be honest with you.
Yep. Neither do I. I know it was a kid.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But vote for us. Vote, or your other favorite fan. Nominate yourself. I don't care.
Do what you want.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be back next Monday. Same time, same place, same tube.
Less problems. More SOGs. Everything else.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Have a good one, folks. Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing. Go Utica City.